The consequences are profound. If one nation can move 200 tons of steel with the push of a button, what else could it move? If thousands of high-performance drone engines are circulating the globe disguised as refrigeration units, how can regulators hope to keep pace? What happens when humanitarian and military supply chains become indistinguishable? These questions are not abstract. In the past year alone, there have been more than 5,000 reported drone sightings in Western airspace, many of them unexplained and raising alarms about security vulnerabilities. In the Middle East and North Africa, armed groups have used commercial drones to launch attacks on oil facilities and critical infrastructure. In the South China Sea, drone surveillance has intensified territorial disputes, with rival claimants deploying UAVs to monitor and challenge each other's activities. Looking ahead, the rapid advance of Chinese drone technology is setting the stage for a fundamental transformation, one that could bring both tremendous progress and unprecedented risk. On the one hand, the environmental benefits are undeniable. Every ton of construction materials lifted by drone instead of diesel truck means less pollution, less habitat destruction, and faster deployment of clean energy. In the words of Professor Li Wei, the next decade will see drone logistics become as commonplace as mobile phones, powering a new era of green infrastructure. Imagine a world where collapsed bridges are rebuilt in days, not months, as drones airlift prefabricated segments into place. Envision disaster zones where emergency shelters, water purification units, and food supplies are delivered by autonomous squadrons, reaching survivors in hours. Picture remote schools and hospitals receiving solar panels, medical equipment, and textbooks, no longer limited by the absence of roads. Yet, every leap forward casts a shadow. The very engines that power these humanitarian miracles can, with only minor modifications, serve as the beating heart of attack drones. The dual-use dilemma is intensifying. International frameworks have struggled to keep pace. The Wassenaar Arrangement, designed to regulate the export of dual-use goods, has proven inadequate in the face of fast-moving supply chains and creative labeling strategies. With thousands of drone engines shipped under the guise of refrigeration equipment, enforcement becomes a game of cat and mouse. If unchecked, the world could slide into a new arms race in the skies. Automated fleets, guided by artificial intelligence and unburdened by human pilots, could shift the balance of power faster than diplomats or regulators can react. It is not difficult to picture a near future where conflicts are prosecuted not by soldiers, but by swarms of intelligent machines, each capable of surveillance, sabotage, or direct attack. But there is another possible path, a scenario of cooperation, regulation, and shared benefit. History offers precedents. The same international frameworks that govern nuclear energy, chemical weapons, and civil aviation could be adapted for drones. Multinational agreements on drone exports, usage tracking, and transparency could channel this technology toward peaceful ends. For instance, mandatory electronic identification and geofencing could help prevent drones from entering restricted airspace. Global registers could track serial numbers and end users, making it harder for rogue actors to operate in the shadows. Some nations are already experimenting with such measures. The European Union has introduced strict regulations for drone operators, including comprehensive registration systems and training requirements. The United States Federal Aviation Administration is rolling out remote identification mandates. However, without global buy-in, and especially without China's participation, such efforts may prove insufficient. For ordinary viewers, these developments hold crucial lessons and practical implications. First, the border between civil and military technology is thinner than ever. Advances you read about in environmental or economic news could shape tomorrow's headlines in geopolitics and security. Second, the origin and regulation of drone components matter enormously. Countries, companies, and even individual investors must scrutinize partners, supply chains, and end users as never before. If you work in technology, logistics, or energy, staying ahead of drone regulation and thinking globally is no longer optional. It is a strategic necessity. At home, these stories challenge us to look deeper than the headlines. The latest breakthrough in solar construction may also be a signal flare for broader changes in global security architecture. It is a reminder that innovation, while often a force for good, carries responsibilities that extend far beyond profit or prestige. So, will these drones spark cooperation or conflict as their reach expands? The answer is not predetermined. The same machines that can lift entire bridges and bring light to isolated villages can also tip the scales in war. The outcome depends on whether the world chooses rules and transparency or secrecy and competition. Here is an insider fact. Intelligence reports reveal that for years, Chinese engines have slipped through sanctions because they are labeled as refrigeration equipment. This means that high-performance drone motors may be circulating in thousands of countries, hidden in plain sight. In this high-tech arms race, even the labels on a shipping container can alter the fate of nations. Ultimately, the future of drones is still unwritten. Will they become humanity's next great hope, a tool for sustainable progress, disaster response, and global connectivity? Or will they serve as a warning of conflicts to come, as the skies fill with autonomous machines? The choice, as always, rests with us. Policymakers, business leaders, technologists, and citizens alike must engage in the conversation, shape the rules, and demand transparency. The story of China's drone revolution is only just beginning. How it unfolds will define the next chapter of our shared future. If you want to stay ahead of the next big shift in technology and global power, make sure to subscribe to our channel, share your thoughts in the comments below, and join the conversation. What do you think?